the album that we're talking about, you created during lockdown in your home. Is that a true story?
I did, yeah. So we were on tour last year, and like everybody else, everything just got canceled. So I came home, and I should note that I was one of the fortunate ones who got to spend that time at home. And I was thinking I'd like to do an album, maybe, an album I always wanted to do was a gospel album. And I started recording some tunes by myself. I played all the instruments and set up all the mics. And as the weeks passed, I started thinking about my faith. And to be quite honest with you, I'm Catholic, but I was thinking, my faith is really strong right now, or some days I was, standing on shaky ground a little bit. And so I wrote about all of that stuff, and as I talked to people over the course of the weeks and months, I found that a lot of people were going through the same thing. So the album is some spirituals that everybody knows, like The Old Rugged Cross and How Great Thou Art, but it's also got a lot of other songs that are based on how I was feeling at the time.
Yeah, and we're going to be hearing quite a bit about a 1-year anniversary this week. It was 1 year ago this week, and throughout the week, where lockdowns began across the United States, where I guess coast to coast, a lot of people began to realize just the seriousness of this situation. And so, how long did it take for you to soak in what was happening and say, let me now turn to music to try and put this all down so I can commemorate and memorialize all of this, Harry?
Well, for the first couple of weeks, I'm sure you remember how you felt. I mean, I didn't know what the heck was going on. I mean, I didn't know. I mean, we didn't know anything. I mean, we were, Windexing every grocery bag and, shoes, and for the longest time, because we just didn't know. And for the first couple of weeks, I filmed this YouTube show from my basement called Hunker Down with Harry, basically, to give people maybe some diversion or some respite from what was going on. But it was a lot for me, too, because I felt like I was able to share my feelings with everyone. But after that, couple of weeks, I said, let me record some music about this, because I've never recorded in real time what I was feeling. Like if you go through a breakup or somebody in your family is sick or dies, the last thing I want to do is go make music about it, because I'm dealing with the grief and the loss. But this was different because everybody was going through the same thing. I was by myself. I had all of these instruments around me, and I said, let me try to articulate musically what I'm feeling, and that's what I ended up doing.
And did you pick up a new instrument, or is just all stuff that you knew already how to play?
The newest instrument that I have is called a harpeggi. It's actually pretty cool if you or your listeners want to look it up. It's spelled Harpejji. And this guy in Baltimore makes it with his wife and children. And it's kind of like it's like a wooden slab with strings on the top, and you kind of hammer the strings, but it's not like any other instrument, like a dulcimer or something. It's kind of like a piano and kind of like a guitar. So I've had that for a year. That's my most recent instrument. But I played, on the record, I played trumpet and saxophone and bass, drums, and do all the vocals. The hardest part, Rich, was being the recording engineer, because that's not my skill set. So, miking all the instruments was a little treacherous for a while, but I figured it out.
Well, Harry, I know we hadn't spoken in a while, but, my house is your house. I have an audio executive here. That's how he wants to be known. It's a sound engineer. He's Mike Del Tufo. He's from New Jersey. He very rarely makes a mistake, and when he does claim to say my bad. Could you have helped Harry on this sort of thing?
I totally could have helped him.
Okay.
I've mixed bands. I used to mix on The Tonight Show.
He could have helped. Rich, you could have helped me. That's how bad I am.
No, come on now.
I would have loved it.
I got to be honest with you. I've never heard of the harpeggi before, so I don't know how I'd be able to mix a harpeggi, to be honto with you. Did I even pronounce it correct?
You got to, as we say in New Orleans, you play like you live, man. You just rock and roll, figure it out, and, do what you got to do.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.